लोग हमेशा बोलते हैं ना कि हमें बेसिक्स पहले से ध्यान रखना चाहिए ताकि मेन चीज़ें हमें बहुत अच्छे से समझ में आए। तो चलिए मैं आपको इंग्लिश की बेसिक्स बताता हूँ कि आपका ब्रेन इसको कैसे ट्रीट करता है और आप इसको बहुत जल्दी कैसे सीख सकते हो। सी यू बीन लर्निंग इंग्लिश विद योर माउथ बट इट स्टार्ट्स फ्रॉम योर ब्रेन। व्हाट इफ आई टोल्ड यू दैट द सीक्रेट इनसाइड योर हेड दैट मेक्स इट लर्निंग 10x faster? It's called brain versus language technique. See, what's the link? Your left hemisphere controls your language part. Your mind's left hemisphere controls your language part, and this control, for example, if you learn a particular one, let's say word, and that word has consequence, it lights up your broadcast area, and that's the speech center of your brain. Your brain treats English just like a survival skill. For example, in a group, if you suddenly start speaking fluent English, your brain rewards with your dopamine spike. It's just same as winning a game. The brain also learns patterns, not just rules. For example, grammar is not stored just like formulas, but we don't say she go because our brain has memorized patterns like she goes. It does not know there's a rule that we need to put S. No, it does not remember the rules. It remembers the techniques, the repetitions. And this repetition, my friend, builds the neural pathways. For example, saying, how are you doing today? Every day creates an automatic response pathways. So here, while saying these statements, no thinking is required at all. You can also trick your brain, for faster learning. For example, if you use spaced repetitions and then let forgetting happen first, and then, for example, if you learn a new word like mitigate, forget it. Relearn after 2 days. Your brain remembers this word 5x faster, longer, quicker. Now it also follows a pathway which we call emotions and repetitions. For example, if you have an emotion coming to your brain every time, then that emotion will retain in your brain as well. For example, if you learn the word humiliated after a real life awkward moment, then you'll never forget it. If you learn the word teacher when just in front of the teacher you're learning it, you'll never forget it. For example, if you get to recall the bad result of your examination and then you try to recall the word consequence, you'll never forget the word consequence. So if you try to relate it with the real life examples, so your mind will never forget it. Alright? So there's one more thing that it follows. It's like brain is addicted to sound patterns as well. For example, rhythm and repetition sticks your brain more than the meaning itself. For example, how do you do? Or let me see, becomes an automatic, just like a song lyrics. Alright? It also uses music and rhythms in order to lock patterns. For example, learning English with the help of raps, learning English with the help of songs or chants. For example, try saying like, could you please tell me where the nearest ATM is, and to a beat. If you try speaking like this, your brain will recall this statement longer than ever. There's one more thing. Fear also blocks your learning literally. For example, your anxiety puts your prefrontal cortex down. So if it ever happens to you that you're nervous and you're not be able to recall, it's just due to your prefrontal cortex. It's like you forget the basic words. For example, even table. Have you come across a situation where you see the table, you can't recall that it's a table? You cannot recall the word table. It's what? Isn't it table or something? It happens. It's because whenever you're anxious, that fear hijacks your language control center. One more thing, confidence boosts your memory recall as well. For example, if you use a fake confidence, people say fake it till you make it. That's actually true. For example, when you joke in English with a friend, you remember more because your brain is relaxed and focused. So if you enjoy it, you keep it along with you for a long span of time. There's one more thing. Storytelling is the brain's favorite method of learning mode. For example, if you learn a particular language with the help of story, you'll recall this for the longest span of time ever. Now, let me tell you what actually happens during this stages. For example, if you're learning stories, if you're listening to stories, it activates all pattern brain reason at one time. If someone tells you that he ran out in the rain, slipped and shouted, "Damn, my grammar book!" You'll recall the statement for a long span of time because you're imagining all these scenarios in your mind. You can also learn new words into stories, not as lists, alright? For example, instead of learning frustrated, annoyed, irritated, separate them. Put them like a mini story, that particular situation made me frustrated, annoyed and irritated. You'll recall all these words quickly, all right, because you've accumulated it all together. One more thing, if you can speak without knowing words, there are certain situations where you don't know the word but you can still talk about that word. Let's see how it happens. It's called chunking replaces vocabulary. For example, if you say I'd like to instead of forming a new sentence between each time, just use a pre-built phrase. You don't need to recall that with the whole statement. Just remember those statements itself, the short ones. One more thing, if you are predictive speaking, it's really faster. For example, if you say I'm gonna, your brain already fills the rest, all right, because that's how native speakers speak fast, all right. So you don't need to remember the whole statement. All that you need is to remember the beginning of the sentence, so that if you just use it, the rest of the brain function starts working very quickly, and then the statement gets created automatically. Next thing is, if you sleep and you have a good diet, that directly impacts upon your English. For example, if you sleep very good, and that turns today's English to tomorrow's memory, it actually happens. For example, if you learn idioms before just sleeping, for example, break the ice, that sticks overnight, the whole night. You keep this in your mind, and even at the time when you wake up, you'll just out of nowhere, you'll get this statement in your mind, and you'll be confused. You'll be amazed that at the time sleeping, you just kept in your brain, and in the morning you just wake up and it's spinning in your head. It happens. So if you're doing something really important in your life, for example, if there's something really crucial that you're doing, is there any particular question or the let's say any confusion that you have in your life, all that you need is at the time of sleeping, keep this in your mind, and when you wake up, there'll be complete clarity upon that particular topic, because your mind analyzes everything at the time when you sleep, all right. A few more things, omega-3s, dark chocolate and blueberries, these improves your focus during English conversations. So if you just have some dark chocolates at the time of conversation, you might have observed girls consuming dark chocolate more than boys, and that's why their communication skill is way better as compared to a normal boy. All right, next, that multilingual brain switches. For example, if you use Hindi, that this can boost your English as well. For example, if you just switch your language, then it sharpens your brain flexibility. अगर आप कुछ देर के लिए हिंदी बोलते हो, फिर इंग्लिश में बोलना स्टार्ट करते हो, फिर इंग्लिश बोलते हो, फिर हिंदी में बोलना स्टार्ट करते हो, ये आपके ब्रेन के फ्लेक्सिबिलिटी को इन्हांस करता है. इससे ब्रेन बहुत शार्प होता है और चीज़ों को बहुत लंबे टाइम तक आप याद कर पाते हो. अगर आप हिंदी और इंग्लिश में दोनों तरीके से ट्रांसलेट करके भी सीखो ना, जस्ट नॉट बाय वर्ड बट उस पॉइंट को बस याद रखना है, तो ये आपके फ्लुएंसी को बहुत एनहांस करता है. नेक्स्ट, अगर आप बाइलिंगुअल मेमोरी ब्रिज यूज करते हो ना, फॉर एग्जांपल अगर आप एसोसिएट करते हो द वर्ड रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी को जिम्मेदारी के साथ और एक फ्रेज बना लो कि इट्स माई जिम्मेदारी टू स्पीक इन इंग्लिश, तो ये चीज़ें एक्चुअली लंबे टाइम तक याद रहती है, क्योंकि आपको फिर जिम्मेवारी याद रखने की जरूरत नहीं है. ये आपका ब्रेन एसोसिएट कर लेगा रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी और जिम्मेदारी को एक साथ. ऑलराइट, आप ब्रेन के रिवॉर्ड सिस्टम को हैक भी कर सकते हो. अगर आप खुद को कुछ काम किया आपने एंड देन यू जस्ट गिव इट स्मॉल रिवॉर्ड. फॉर एग्जांपल, if you just listen to English, for example, you watch this video, not learn English, and then 5 मिनट के बाद एक ब्रेक लेते हुए आपने खुद को चॉकलेट दे दिया, ये चीज़ें आपको बहुत हेल्प करेगा फ्यूचर में. तो अभी तक आपने अप्रॉक्सीमेटली 11 ऐसी चीज़ें सीखी जो आपको बिल्कुल नहीं पता था. आई विश आपको नहीं पता होगा. अगर आप ऐसा कुछ सीख पाए जिससे आपकी इंग्लिश लर्निंग अगर इम्प्रूव हुई हो, तो आप एक बहुत अच्छे चैनल पे हो. ये आपको बहुत हेल्प करने वाला है अलॉन्ग द वे ऑफ लर्निंग इंग्लिश, क्योंकि ज़रूरी नहीं है सब चीज़ों को हार्ड कर देना, कॉम्प्लेक्स कर देना. चीज़ें सिंपल रख के भी सीखी जा सकती हैं. अगर आप चाहते हो कैसे और वीडियोस आप विजन स्पोकन इंग्लिश आपके लिए लाए, तो प्लीज सब्सक्राइब कर दो, लाइक दिस वीडियो इफ यू वर बी एबल टू अंडरस्टैंड एनीथिंग व्हाट आई सेड. ऑलराइट, टेक बेटर केयर ऑफ योरसेल्फ. यू आर वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर मी. टेक केयर, बाय.